Yes, plus one class students, hello and good day to all. I am Amritpal Singh and I welcome you in the online class of economics. Students, in our previous video, we had started a new chapter which was related with the concept of census and sample method. Let's take a little quick recall what we did in our previous video. In census method, we take each and every item of the universe, and in sample method, we take only a small part of the whole data, and that small part is representing the whole data. Okay, we had some examples of that, and now in this video we are going to discuss that what are qualities of a good sample, what are the essentials of a good sample, that if you are choosing a sample, for example, and what should be in that sample so that it should be making no error in that. Okay, let us begin. It can be asked in 2 marks, it can be asked in 3 marks, it can be asked in 4 marks. So we have to mentally prepare accordingly. Number 1 is representative. Representative here means when we are selecting a sample and that sample is representing the whole data. Okay, let's take an example. There are 100 books of economics. I am choosing only one book and rest 99 books are same. So that first book which I am having in my hand, that is representing the whole 99 book of lot of 499 books. And we had example that a lady is cooking rice in the kitchen and she is taking 2-3 grains of rice grains, and that these 2-3 grains are representing the whole item. Okay, so that should be represented. See the content. A sample must represent all the characteristics of the universe. Whatsoever in the data, whatsoever in the universe, whatsoever the items are there, those are to be represented by a good sample. For example, after cooking a meal, after cooking the food, you are going to taste the salt, and a small part of the whole vegetable you can easily detect that salt is okay or salt is less or more. Okay, so it represents the characteristics of the universe. Universe means whole data. It is possible only when each unit of the universe stands equal chances of being selected in the sample, and it is only possible when you are able to check the data from the whole universe, not only one or two parts. Let's take an example. While sitting in a classroom, there is a chance that every student can be selected. If I am talking about only boys, then rest of the girls will not be selected. If I am talking about odd roll numbers, then even roll numbers will not be selected. And this can only be applicable when whole data is equally likely to be selected. Second is independent, means one selection of one should not be dependent on other. So all units of a sample must be independent of each other. In other words, inclusion of one item in the sample should not be dependent upon the inclusion of some other items of the universe. Means selection of one sample should not be dependent on the other one. So otherwise it will give a biased result, it will give a biased conclusion. So these are the two essentials of a good sample. Then we are going to have a point number 3, adequacy. Here adequacy means completeness, sufficient. We have the number of items in the sample should be fairly adequate so that some reliable conclusions are drawn covering the characteristics of the universe as a whole. So whatsoever the data has been picked up by the investigator, by the enumerator, the sample must be adequate in nature, must be adequate so that some reliable in which we can make our trust. Okay, so adequacy is essential for a good sample. Then we have homogeneity. Homogeneity means when the data is in the same of uniform, or we can be say same data. Okay, same. Like we have having a book of accounts, business and economics. If I am reading the book of economics, I cannot judge the book of accounts or cannot judge the book of business studies as well. This thing you have to keep in mind. So if more than one sample are selected, if more than it means then we are selecting 2 students from +1 class, more than one, then these samples should be homogeneous. Means one student is saying that our syllabus is up to 6 chapter, other is saying that syllabus is up to 10 chapters, so they are contradicting each other. They should not be contradict to each other, that these samples should be homogeneous to each other. Homogeneous means same. Okay, if I am cooking some rice, one grain is fully cooked and other one is half cooked and third one is not cooked, then it is not a good conclusion. Okay, so these are the 4 points. I hope that you have got. Now pause the video and note it down in your fair notebook. Yes, students, so now we are going to discuss a very interesting and important topic, that is what are the differences between census method and sample method. It can also be said there is a comparative look between census method and sample method. Okay, very easy to understand. We have distinguished our blackboard in order to make it clear. So first is on what basis we are differentiating census method and sample method. And heading, students, you have to make at your own. Write down a big heading, what are the differences between census method and sample method, a comparative study. Okay, students, now note it down. First one is basis. On which basis? Coverage. So census method, this method covers each and every item of the universe, as we have read earlier. The census method cover each and every item of the universe, but in sample method, this method takes a small part of the whole data. Okay, not each and every item, small part of the whole data. This is point number one. And accordingly, 1 mark question it can be asked that which method covers each and every item. You will write census method. In which method we take small part? In sampling. Okay. Second is suitability. Census method is generally suitable when area of investigation is small. Means when area's investigation is small, then we use census method, and sampling method is used when area of investigation is large. Okay. Again, 1 mark question can be asked that in sampling, which method is suitable for large area? Sampling. Which method is suitable for small area? Census. This kind of question can be asked. Then third point we have, that is reliability. Which method is more trustworthy? Generally, census method is highly reliable because in this method we take each and every item of the whole data, but sample method is less reliable as compared to census method, because in sampling we take some part, and those some part may not be the good representative of the whole data, may not be the best representative of the whole data. So this method is generally less reliable as compared to census method. Okay, students, so coverage, suitability and reliability, these are the 3 points. And next points which we are going to discuss, let us come with me here. On the basis of cost, so census method, this method is expensive in terms of money, time and efforts. So generally in census method it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of efforts. Okay, but sampling, this method is cheaper than sample method as compared to in terms of money, time and effort. So as compared to census method, sampling is cheaper than census method. Okay. Then accuracy. So in census method we take each and every part of the whole data. So census method is generally more accurate than sampling because we have taken each and every item of the whole universe. But in sampling, this method is less accurate as compared to census method because we are taking some nodes, some small parts, and those small parts may not be the best representative of the whole data. Okay, students. And last one we have nature of items. So this method is suitable when items are heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means when the data is not same, when the data is different in terms of their characteristics, in terms of features. As I have given the example, heterogeneous, that we have accounts book, we have business book, we have economics book, and there may be a chance that heterogeneous, according to that we have to take all the 3 books in order to get their characteristics. But in sampling it is suitable when data are homogeneous, when all the data are same, uniform in terms of, in terms of their characteristic, in terms of their features. So this thing you have to keep in mind. So this is suitable when heterogeneous items are there, and these are suitable when homogeneous data are there. And these are the 6 points in your examination. This can be asked in 3 marks, this can be asked in 4 marks, and 1 mark question, as I have already discussed with you. So now take a small pause, students, note it down in your fair notebook. Yes, students, so now we are going to discuss the methods of sampling. In our syllabus, in your book, we have 6 different methods of sampling, and any one can be asked in the examination, but these are very interesting and very easy to understand. Now let us begin. First one is random sampling. Okay, I will explain it to you in this video. Then purposive sampling, stratified sampling, quota sampling, systematic sampling and convenience sampling. All the samplings are to be explained, written in a well mannered, in a good handwriting, and then some have merits also and demerits also. So one by one we will start discussing the different methods of sampling. Okay, now for a second pause the video here students and note it down these 6 methods in your fair notebook. Yes students, so the first method we have, that is the random sampling. As the name is speaking by itself, it is that method of sampling in which each and every atom of the universe has an equal chance of being selected in the sample. For example, you are sitting in your classroom, there are suppose 50 students in your class, some are girls, some are boys, and any teacher is asking any question from any student, and they can ask from each and every student, from last bench to first bench. Okay, so there is nothing like logical that we are taking only girls, we are taking only boys. There is no logic in that. Okay, so this method, random sampling, is when each and every atom of the universe has an equal chance of being selected. And the best example we have, that is the lottery method. In lottery, every number can be there. Use of random number tables, you can see it as a dice. So one arrow is there, so it can stay on any number. So random, this is the random sampling. Okay, now what are its merits? So first one is, this method is free from personal bias of the investigator. There is no partiality in this method basically. So this method is free from personal bias of the investigator. He or she cannot make any partiality. Second is, this is a very simple and straightforward method. There is nothing, no logic, no even number, no odd number, nothing like that. So it is very simple and straightforward method. And last merit we have, that is each and every item has an equal chance of being selected. If I am taking only boys, then girls will be left. If I am taking only girls, then there is no chance of boys selection. So in this method we have each and every item has an equal chance of being selected. So random sampling and its merits, so it can be asked in 4 marks, in 3 marks. Explain random sampling, write its 2 merits and 2 demerits. And after 2 merits, let us discuss 2 demerits of random sampling. So demerits we have, this method does not guarantee proportionate representation of different items in the universe. So if randomly we are taking the students, so this can be asked that it does not give a guarantee proportion, that is the whatsoever the sample has been taken, it cannot be the best representative of the different items. Okay, so if I am having such students in the classroom who are very good in the subject of economics but are weak in mathematics, let's say, so there may be a chance that the students are collected have no guarantee of their proportionate. And the second point is related with that, that is random sampling does not give weightage to certain important items in the universe. For example, in our classroom, commerce students, non-medical students, science students, our students are sitting in our classroom, and randomly we are selecting some students, and this may happen that all the students are selected maybe from art stream, maybe from science stream, all the students we are selecting. So it does not give any weightage to certain important items. So this is a one kind of demerit of this random sampling. Okay students, I hope that you all are getting. Now pause the video here, demerits also, merits also, and then we will start discussing with our next sampling. Only just small part we will discuss, and then we will discuss in our next video. I hope that you all are getting. Now pause the video and note it down in your fair notebook. Yes students, so the second sampling we have, that is purposive sampling, which is also called deliberate sampling. So it is that method in which the investigator himself makes the choice of sample items which in his opinion are the best representative of the universe. So it is simply made by choice. For example, I am asked to send some students which are good in economics. So I will make my choice that which students are good in my opinion, which can best represent our +1 class. Okay, so it is basically that method in which the investigator himself made the choice. Very easy to understand, which I feel, which the investigator himself feels that this is the best representative, that sample should be selected. So what are its merits? It is a very simple method because we are taking things at our own choice. So it is a very simple technique of selection of sample items. Okay, second is, this method is flexible to allow the inclusion of those items which are of special significance. So by using this special, if I am taking students which are for singing purpose, so I will take those students which can sing properly. If I am taking quiz competition students, so I can take those students which are good in academics, so accordingly we can take those samples which are of special significance. But this method have some demerits also. What are those demerits we have? There are a chances of personal bias. If I am making my own choice, if investigator making his own choice, so there are some chances of personal bias, partiality can be there. And second, because of partiality, because of personal bias, the result may get wrong. So this method is not that much trustworthy because due to the personal bias by the investigator. And with the help of these students, your 2 methods of sampling are over. In the next video we will start discussing our 4 methods. Till then, this is your homework. Read and write all the topic covered in this video. I hope that you all are getting good, and don't forget, you all are awesome. Thank you very much.